So when I stopped doing this, when I was doing this work in the late 90s and I got out of it around 2000, my understanding was that there would be decriminalization, but addicts, particularly ones who were breaking the laws, would be mandated rehabilitation. That didn't happen. We just did the decriminalization part without mandating rehab, or even enforcing the laws when addicts break the law, and they break the law like every day. So yes, if you have consequences for behavioral disorders, decriminalization can work. Now, decriminalization doesn't mean there's no consequences. It just means that it's not a felony to be using drugs. There are benefits to that because it does mean that people can get help without fearing prison. But if you don't have the mandatory rehab, then it's not going to work. So I actually went in, because one of the things you hear, people sometimes say, well, if we had decriminalization, then there'd be less addiction. Not at all. You could have a lot more. People, when drugs become cheaper and more available, addiction goes up. I mean, that's part of how we had the crack epidemic. It's part of why we have a drug problem, is that drugs have become much cheaper and more available, in part just through supply chain efficiencies. Drug dealers are really good at bringing drugs into different countries. Really amazing, and clearly have outpaced law enforcement every step of the way. I personally, that's one issue where I continue to have a left of center view, which is that I just don't think you can stop the drugs from coming in. It's too easy to get drugs into countries, especially when they're so concentrated. So that's why I tend to focus on dealing with behavioral disorders of addicts in public. I just don't think there's much stomach. I don't have it. I don't think my fellow citizens have it, of arresting addicts who want to even smoke fentanyl in the privacy of their own homes. I think it's nuts. I don't think you should. I think it should be stigmatized, but I don't think it should be a law enforcement priority. On the other hand, if your addiction is leading you to break the law, defecate in public, camp in public, steal, commit crimes, then you should be arrested and you should be given the choice of prison or rehab.
Michael, one of the things